So, how's school been for everyone so far?
Well,
Good.
tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Krish.
Hey, man.
All right, William, you just want to get started?
Yeah, might as well. All right.
Cool.
So, first of all, welcome to the South Forsyth High School Coding Club for this year. Our presidents are Arnav and Joseph, and the secretaries are Sahil and myself.
All right, so today's going to be a pretty short meeting. It's just an onboarding meeting for all of you guys. So this is the agenda we're planning on following for the meeting. We'll have a welcome and introduction. We'll go over what coding is. And since the members of the club chose Python, we'll discuss why Python's a good language, why you should learn it. We'll talk about the benefits of joining the coding club, some of our activities, and the general schedule we'll follow. We'll have a short Q&A session for you guys to ask us any questions you may have, and then we'll have a small icebreaker so you guys can get to know each other, and then we'll play quizzes.
All right. So, here's another welcome and introduction to ourselves. Our club sponsor is Mrs. Zhao. She's located in room 474 in West Hall. And as I said before, club officers are Joseph, Arnav, Sahil, and myself. Our email is sfhscoding@gmail.com. And if any of you have any questions, feel free to DM one of us on Discord or email us.
All right. So what is coding? So some of you guys might already know if you're taking intro to coding classes or you're doing the coding pathway at South. So coding, also known as programming, it refers to the process of providing a computer with a set of instructions or commands, and then having the computer perform those commands. So, for example, you could provide a computer with two numbers, and you could tell it to add those two numbers and give you the result. Obviously, it's a very basic example. There's a lot more complex stuff you can do, like making games, websites, all those stuff. And these instructions are written in a format that the computer can understand and execute. So usually what happens is there's a high level language, whether that's Python, Java, C++, and then there's the compiler that takes that high level language, whatever code you wrote, and then compiles it to a low level language that the computer can understand, which is usually called machine code. We don't deal with machine code. We actually almost never deal with machine code anymore. We just deal with high level languages. Obviously, now we're going to be dealing with Python. We'll probably show you guys a couple of examples of what that looks like in future meetings. So, the importance of coding in today's world. Obviously, a lot of the IT sector right now is coding. So stuff like software development, data analysis, automation, and then it it's a very recent field, but AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning is now a very big thing. And actually, Python is really useful for that. Research, cybersecurity, entertainment and media, education, and all of these will lead to you getting a lot of job opportunities. So it's pretty important that you guys know how to code. It gives you it opens a lot of doors for you guys.
So, why should you learn how to code in Python? Well, first of all, it's really easy to learn and to read, and it is renowned for its simplicity and readability. Its syntax is very straightforward and resembles the English language, making it easier for newcomers to grasp the fundamentals of programming. Whereas in Java and other programming languages, you have to worry about a bunch of other syntax that might not seem too easy for newcomers to understand, but Python is much more easier to at least understand, and it's much easier to pick up, especially for me when I started learning. Beginners can quickly write and understand Python code, which reduces the learning curve and fosters a positive coding experience.
So it's just a continuation of why we'd want Python. It's extremely versatile. Python supports a lot of libraries, and because of how easy it is, a lot of people have taken up writing open source libraries. So you have stuff like Django and Flask, which are really good for web development, and they make it extremely easy, easier than having to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Instead of having to know all three of those, you just need to know Python. And you also have stuff like NumPy, SciPy, which allow you to do scientific computing. So stuff like simulations, matrix multiplication. When you have large numbers, you can use NumPy and SciPy to perform operations on those. Data analysis is also another really big thing. It's become more popular nowadays with the advent and the increase of popularity of artificial intelligence. Usually, we use libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib for that. Obviously, artificial intelligence, like I mentioned previously, so there's libraries which are completely built in C++ that you can use, that you can access with Python. So it's extremely versatile. And because of this, it's what's called a general purpose programming language because it can be applied to a wide range of tasks and domains. Its adaptability allows beginners to explore various areas of interest. So, like we just talked about, there's tons of libraries and frameworks. It's a vast ecosystem that all work together to make it much easier to write code in Python than like Java or C++. So, an example of this is, for example, in data analysis, the Pandas library streamlines data manipulation, while in web development, Django provides a robust framework for building web applications. It's because of all of these large ecosystem of libraries working together, it's ideal for tons of fields. So web development, data analysis, AI/ML, automation, and a lot of companies nowadays are completely porting all of their code bases to Python. So it's actually a really good beginner language, and it also helps you if you might want to end up getting a job in the CS sector later on.
So here are some benefits of joining the coding club. So first of all, you get to learn valuable programming skills from a wide variety of languages that we teach. For example, in the past, we've taught a combination of Java, JavaScript, C#, and even gone through Unity courses. We even enhance all of your problem-solving abilities by allowing you to delve deeper into creating more projects that challenge yourselves and others to work harder and better. You can build a portfolio for college and future careers, as this, even though it may not seem like a lot, it will help you stand out to college admissions officers. It also fosters creativity and innovation, like I said before. It will help you in your code, and if you are taking any coding courses, it will help you a lot in at least understanding all of it, and even how should I put this? Wording all of your programs better and being able to do it much shorter and recognizing all of your mistakes. And you also have a strong community to help you, led by our officer team, which is happy to help with any questions. In fact, if you guys have any questions regarding the coding or just anything in general, please put them in social general and we'll be happy to help. So here's our little club activities and schedule that we've used from the past few years. So last year we implemented a little schedule where we in first semester learned one language and used a few applications of it, and second semester same sort of thing. Our activities include small club events within the club, in-person meetings, which will be announced shortly. Those will usually be held on one of the weekdays in Mrs. Zhao's house. Room. Uh, the discussions and workshops will also be something to look forward to, especially in in-person meetings.
One other thing to add on to that, right now, our planned schedule for the online meetings is bi-weekly, so we'll have one every 2 weeks. It's, yeah, so it'll give you a lot of time to like digest what you learned, maybe work on some stuff yourself outside of the club. So that's what we're planning on doing. So our next meeting will be in 2 weeks.
So here's some steps to get started. So first of all, if you aren't in the Discord, then I'm not sure how you're in this meeting. Just make sure you can see all the channels and that you can join everything without any problems. And I also want to take this opportunity to make sure that everyone has completed this form. If you haven't already, I'll just send it again in the general chat because it will really because Mrs. Zhao wants to create a Canvas course so that we can post the meeting links and we can record attendance a little easier. So if everyone can fill that out, just I'll give you guys about 3 to 5 minutes for that.
Okay, so this is basically like a virtual club, is it?
It's a little bit
Yes,
of a
for the
hybrid
most
of
part.
both.
We'll have probably one meeting a month in person, or maybe one every 2 months. That we still have to decide how to do the in-person ones. But for the most part, it's a virtual club. Yeah.
All right.
All right, William, I think we can move on.
All right. So now would be a good time to ask us about any questions you have about the coding club, Python programming, or computer science classes in general.
If you guys have any questions about high school, anything, you can just shoot us a quick question right now. We're happy to answer anything.
Come on, you guys gotta have some sort of questions about it. Surely you don't know everything about the computer science classes here at South.
Drew, to answer your question, we often get like a couple of hackathon requests. So people from, I think last year we had like 2 or 3 people reach out if we wanted to have our members join a hackathon. We'll send out that information to you guys. Ms. Joe sends it to us, and we'll just send it out to all of you guys. If you have any interest in competition stuff like that, there's definitely opportunities for you guys.
Is there any tournament events in this club?
We personally don't have any because our entire club is supposed to be laid back. We don't want to have it be competitive. But like I said, we get hackathon. We have people hosting hackathons who reach out to see if any of us are interested. We'll forward all that information to you guys as we get it.
Okay.
So a hackathon is basically you can do it individually or you can get it in a group with people. And for like the time frame is usually dependent on the competition. Sometimes it's just a day, sometimes it's as long as a week. You just get together, they give you a topic, and you basically just build whatever you think fits that topic. So if it's game development, it'll be a game based off of that theme. If it's just a regular coding thing, you just make a program that you think relates to the topic, and then they'll rank how you guys did, and they'll give out prizes. I think last year our members learned 2 or 3 languages. They learned Java, Python, and some of the basics of HTML. This year, I would expect about the same. So we're learning Python now. After like 1 or 2 months. Once you guys are proficient in Python, we might move on to another language. And second semester, we'll be applying those two languages. So since we did Python, we might teach you guys web development with Django or AIML, and then with Java, we'll go into application development. So that's sort of the plan we have going right now, but that might change again. We might just decide to teach you guys more languages second semester.
You guys have any other questions about Python programming or just computer science classes or the computer science pathway here at South?
Yes, the Hack Club is, I think, Sahidi started it. It's essentially what I was talking to you guys about. They reach out to us every now and then, but they host a bunch of hackathons, and I think last year they had one where they had like $500 worth of prizes, I think. So yeah, you if I think Sahidi's in this club, so if you want to join, you could probably shoot her a message, and she'll tell you how exactly to join.
All right, to answer your question, I believe that we'll probably be using PyCharm unless we decide to go with a different IDE for this unit. What about you, Arnav? Do you have any opinions on that?
If if you are familiar with VS Code, you could just stick with VS Code since nothing we do is going to be IDE specific. So
Yeah,
it
for
really
sure.
doesn't matter what you use for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. If you already have a Python 80 that you prefer to use, then that's perfectly fine.
There's not
Um,
going to be any memberships you'll have to pay for, Dhruv.
yeah, it's one of the other advantages of this. It's completely free and you don't have to do much.
If you have an app you're familiar with, like VS Code or PyCharm, like William said, you don't have to switch to what me and William use. But if you don't already have one that you're familiar with, or you've never used an IDE before, it would probably be easier to follow along as me and William show you guys how to install it so you don't run into any issues there. So I wouldn't say it's compulsory or mandatory, but it's up to you guys pretty much.
Yeah, it's more of a suggestion than a requirement. If you're really familiar with that IDE, then we fully encourage you to use that. But if you've just downloaded it and you're not really that familiar with it, then we probably won't be able to help you with any questions regarding that IDE. So in those cases, it'd be better to use the one that we use so we can better answer your questions. Um, they the majority of them are you would have to download. Yes, you would have to install the apps onto your computer or device that you're using. Although there are a few online IDEs that you can use, at least in the beginning when we start the Python unit, like there's a few such as Replit and a few others I'm definitely forgetting. Yeah.
A big issue with online ones though is it's like last time I used one was it's pretty difficult to install packages. So if we're ever doing something where you need to install a library, it might end up being difficult. And again, me and William won't know how to debug any issues you're running into.
We will suggest, to answer your question, Harav, we may suggest some out of club work that you guys can do, and if you've been missing meetings, then we do suggest that you should complete a few of them to get better on track with others, so you don't leave for 2 weeks on vacation, and then when we come back, you're completely unfamiliar the next time you come in for a meeting. So we will suggest that you do, but if you're perfectly capable of just catching up on the go, or if you're attending every meeting, then no, you won't have to do much out of club work.
So the way we do it, Dux, usually is me and William code out the project and we explain to you guys what each line does, how everything works, and you guys can follow along. And if you run into any issues, yes, what you do is you just take a screenshot, like you said, and then you just put it in either the meetings chat or in general social general, and then one of the officers will get to it. We'll either uh, type it out in the same channel you sent it in to help you, or we'll just talk you through it.
one other thing that we've done in the past for those types of problems, if you really have a really more challenging problem with that, then what we usually do is have one of the officers and that student go into one of the coding help VCs to just work through the problem while the rest of the club works through a lot of their problems, especially if we've been receiving a lot of issues. Like, for example, if a bunch of the other kids have finished downloading their ID, but another kid is having problem, then we'll probably go into coding help to just sort that out. Um, there is no
To answer
particular.
your question, yeah,
Alright,
go ahead, William. Go ahead.
alright. So to answer your question, Drew, there is no sort of best app for coding. Like it's more dependent on whichever language you're learning. Like in my case, I like to use PyCharm for Python, Eclipse for Java, and Visual Studio for C# code and Unity. So
Yes.
it's
It's
more
honestly, it just
dependent on
comes down to, yeah, it comes down to a personal preference. So I prefer just using VS Code, but it you'll as you go through, you'll figure out which one you like more. If you're a beginner, I would recommend starting with VS Code because it's fairly easy to install and get it set up. But again, William will be able to help you. For example, if you want to go with PyCharm or Visual Studios, and then I'll be able to help if you go with VS Code.
certifications in cloud computing. They aren't necessary for this course, and as far as I know, they don't really help you gain too much of an edge in here. I mean, we we do encourage you to complete them, but they don't really align with our lesson plans as much. But certifications will help in college admissions for sure, especially if you're willing to go through in that sort of pathway.
And also, a big issue with certification is you have to figure out which one of the courses is good because I've done a couple of certifications before, like two or three, and out of the three, I'd say like two of them were pretty much useless, but one of them was actually good. So you have to figure out which ones you're interested in, which ones you think will actually help you. So we I wouldn't say we don't recommend you do certifications, but it's important to be aware of that before you go into doing certifications because for a lot of them you do have to pay a substantial amount of money just to take the class.
So a little bit off topic here, but one of the things that I'm just using to help me take the GIAC certification is I went through CyberStart America and I joined it in like I would like to say sophomore year, and I got a few free scholarships with that, and one of the scholarships that I got last year allowed me to complete a chance at the SANS Foundations course, which again builds into the GFAC certification, which is one thing that really helps you stand out in college admissions. So if you can get something like that for free, then that's really good. But if it's something really expensive, then it's probably not the best. But if you really have the opportunity, then go ahead for it.
Doesn't seem like anyone has any more questions, so let's move on. Wait, hold on. Wait, actually, Krish is typing. Krish, if you want, you could just unmute and ask us. That might be a little faster. Up to you though.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know which certifications you guys did. Which ones are good for you guys?
So the ones I did. There was one with in the CS pathway in school. It's a C sharp, I believe, developer certification from Microsoft. So for that, for if you're are you taking the CS pathway at South?
I just joined South this year as a senior, so I don't have like
Okay.
pathway set up.
Okay, so that probably won't help you then. I think I took two classes with machine learning. One of them was on both of them actually, I think, were on this platform called Coursera. You can take a bunch of classes. They give you a week free. So if you have like fall break or Thanksgiving break where you know you're off, you could just use your free week and then just grind out a majority of the course without having to pay. Um, So I did 2 on machine learning, and there was one by Andrew NG that's actually really good if you're interested in getting into machine learning. And then William, do you want to
Okay.
talk about the certifications you're doing?
Yeah, so right now I'm just currently working through one certification, which is the GFACT certification. It runs through GIAC and SANS, which are two of the most popular cybersecurity platforms, at least for certifications in general. Like I said before, I got them for free through scholarships given from CyberStart America. I'd really suggest, if you're really interested in cybersecurity, I would really suggest you guys to go head on over there. And it's free as far as I remember, and you just have to get a bunch of points, and it's really fun and laid back to do. Yeah.
Right.
All right. If you guys don't have any more questions, then I guess we can move on to the next slide. So here's just another sort of open discussion. So what have you done with coding, any projects, or what do you plan to do with coding? So for this discussion,
This is just an icebreaker. We just want you guys to unmute, talk to some of your fellow club members, and just say your name, your grade level. That's all you have to do. But if you want, you can go along with the discussion topic and talk about anything you've done with coding or what you want to do. We don't want to have to call on you guys by name. Come on, you just have to say your name and what grade you're in.
I'm Krish and I'm a senior. I recently joined this year. That's about it.
Nice to meet you, Krish. Where'd you transfer from?
I before this I used to be in like a country in Southern Africa.
Oh,
So
okay. Nice to meet you.
My name is Ashish Kalu, and I am a junior.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Ashish.
Are you guys? My name is Hirav and I'm a freshman.
Nice to meet you, Harav.
My name's Dhruv and I'm also a freshman.
Nice to meet you too, Dhruv.
My name is Daksh. I go by DJ, and I'm also a freshman.
All right, nice to meet you, Daksh. Does anyone want to share anything they've done with coding before or what they plan to do with coding? All right, nice. Nice. All right, let's move on, William.
Yeah, so next is an optional Quizizz. If you guys want to join this, just use any device to just plug in the link joinmyquiz.com, enter the following code. You can also join on the Quizizz app if you have it installed. And yeah, we'll just give a few minutes for you guys to join in and yeah.
It's just for us to sort of gauge what you guys know. If you've taken any CS classes before, how much knowledge you have. It's fine if you don't know any of it. Again, that's why you're in the club to learn. But it's just for us to kind of see how good you guys are at CS already, going into learning.
Just another thing that I wanted to point out, this club is really laid back, and the officers here are really friendly, and they will really help you a lot if you just have the courage to come up and ask. So if you do have any questions, just feel free, and we'll be able to help you a whole lot. Because I was also a little nervous coming into club at first, but it takes a while to get used to everybody, but once you do, it's really fun and a nice community to be around. Sure, Arnav can agree with me there.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Just gonna give a little bit more time for Chris to join if he wants to. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Yep, I'm just thinking my account.
All good. Alright, I guess you can join. And let's start. And it didn't work.
Remind you guys real quick, it's fine if you don't get any of these questions. Again, this is not something you guys should know already. That's great, but we don't expect you to know any of this. It's just for us to sort of see how good you guys are already.
Alright, I think everybody should be done with it now. Doc, are you still working on it? It's okay if you haven't, it's fine.
Yeah, once again, just to reiterate, we don't expect you guys to know any of this. So just for us to see where the class stands on average. So I think class accuracy is something like 85% right now, so that's really good. Hopefully oh yeah, exactly 85. Okay. So hopefully you guys at the very least learned something new that you didn't know before. It's the whole goal of the club to teach you guys something new, and hope you guys had fun. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the end of the meeting, unless William has something to say.
Yeah, no, unless you guys want to go over any of the questions you guys got wrong in this, because we can consider this meeting under wraps and we can finish it up.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Sure.
Is how do you know how to get in Cyber Patriots?
Not really in that club.
I'm not sure if registration's still open. I could let me ask one of the presidents, and I'll get back to you on that. All right, Hirav, you asked, right? Okay, I'll get some information from one of the presidents and I'll DM you.
Alright, is there
Anyone
any
else
other
have any?
questions? Is there any other questions that you guys want us to answer before we end?
All right, well, I think yeah, we can just conclude it there. So thank all of you guys for attending, and we hope to see you at the next meeting, which is probably going to be in 2 weeks. So the week after next Saturday.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for
Have a good day,
coming
guys.
out.
Yeah, have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Doc. Well, that was the end of the first meeting. Thank you guys for joining in. For those of you listening afterwards, if you have any other questions, just ask one of the officers in the Discord, or if you want to, email us on the email. So, yeah, I think that covers everything, and have a great weekend, guys. See ya.